as long as he's sending felons, those that have brutally harmed or viciously killed, I'm 100% for it. Obviously, lesser crimes, I would feel differently. Well, it doesn't matter. So people need to realize that when we were being invaded for 4 years, that was an act of war committed upon the United States, which is why Donald Trump enacted, a couple weeks ago, the Aliens Enemies Act, which changes this whole judicial thing. Because when you're under war, especially under the Aliens Enemies Act, it allows the president to detain, relocate, or deport non-citizens from nations deemed hostile during wartime or invasion without judicial review. Now, that's what these judges think that they can step in on, and the fact is, no. Why do you think Trump was saying for 4 years we're being invaded? We were, and we weren't just being invaded from the southern. We were being invaded from the other end, and there's enough video and evidence for that in every single way. But because people say, no war's been declared. Well, yeah, the best wars ever fought are the ones that they're done, in covert ways. But allowing these people that have come in and killed people and have raped children and that are part of these gangs that really are just terrorists, no, they should be deported. And when judges step in like this one, and I'll zoom in on this. And that guy next to that judge is Kamala's husband. Yeah, and Trump posted this. It is a conflict of interest. That's why these judges do need to be impeached. First of all, they don't have a right to interfere with a president carrying out what needs to be done for the safety of this country when war has been declared on us. And when you have somebody, even if some fake president like Biden and he opens your borders up, and everybody has seen enough videos, that is an act of war against the homeland. And this judge, as you can see, it's right down here. I blew it up. Judge James, Boster, and he's standing next to Douglas Emhoff, which was Kamala's husband. Yeah. So this is the way that the socialists, the communists get in, the Democrats, and start putting all of these far left radical judges in that then think they are in charge of the country and don't even understand the Constitution, because the Aliens Enemy Act gives Donald Trump an absolute right. And yet, wasn't it this judge that demanded that he turn the plane around? Yeah, he's stepping over his boundaries, and that hurts our country, so they should be impeached. They just want to keep it to where, which is what the Democrats want, is where you can then endlessly keep these criminals here, okay? Because, again, the Democrat Party is anti-American. Under U.S. law, foreigners from enemy nations can be deported during wartime conditions. And the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, this law grants the president broad authority to detain, relocate, or deport non-citizens from countries deemed hostile. So it gives him broad authority that judges don't have a right to then come in and just do whatever they want. So if this is the kind of judicial system we're going to have, they should be impeached, because they're a danger to our country, but it's the same thing like what I keep saying about Kennedy. Kennedy was a plant. That's what these people do. That's how they've gotten into these positions. Okay? I mean, we would have been destroyed as a country had Hillary gotten in, let's just face it. Would have been over for America. Probably no chance of her even coming back. Yeah, because it would have been all this stuff. And this is what the Democrats do. They love to use lawfare to just hold everything up, and then forever nothing goes years by, and you have these criminal elements, these gang members, terrorists in your country, and they're not even citizens. So that's why he enacted this. And just so people realize, because I don't think many people realize that we don't, so the Geneva Convention, which that's with the International Court, which the International Court is so damn corrupt. That's where Jack Smith came from, okay? Yeah, I think he's in trouble anyway. But that is such a corrupt court, and it's so unfair. But they were created, well, they may have been there, but they came up with the Geneva Convention. America doesn't fully fall under that, though. We don't, because we never agreed to it. It was after the Holocaust, but that's the reason why when the International Court says to a president here, you have to send one of your military people because we're going to hold them accountable for whatever, they can't do it with America. Yeah, because we said no. We're not going to go along with your global agenda. Even way back then, people were like, no, you're not. I mean, in fact, when Trump was in the first time, the International Court wanted to extradite a couple of military people, and Trump was like, over my dead body, never going to happen. Nobody's going anywhere. You're not going to, the International Court will not rule over America. They rule over every other country, but, you know, you can thank Britain for that pretty much. But they do have in their Geneva Convention, or Geneva something, the Geneva Convention, something, rule 4 about all this about you can't, I'm not even going to read it. I don't have it right in front of me, but it's basically trying to say that, you know, you can't treat war criminals badly. Yeah, no, you shouldn't. But that said, it also was very designed to then serve the very criminals that did the things that they did during the Holocaust, if people follow what I'm saying. So the International Court is a joke. It really always has. And America doesn't really, we don't fall under it. Even lawyers will tell you that. We don't, like other nations, because they're all under the Britain crown, they all have to abide by it, but America doesn't. Again, why Britain hates America. But we don't. We said no to it. That, you know, that's part of that. When you have that whole globalist system, and you have, you know what, I don't even know how many judges they have at the International Court, but everything I've heard about them is Jack Smith is responsible just for sending people to their death. It's not a very fair court. People think that it's somehow above our court system. It's not. We don't fall under the Geneva Convention. Yeah, so that's for like your Nuremberg crimes. And I know that during COVID with Fauci and all that stuff, people were like, oh, Nuremberg. And even there was a German lawyer that was doing those weekly, I watched them about it was the COVID, it was all about COVID. I forget his name. He was a German lawyer, but out of California. I think he moved back to Germany. But he was the one that said it. I forget his name. And they were doing every week these like 4-hour. I loved listening to them because there was so much history being learned through all this process. And he said that America doesn't really fall under Nuremberg. So even though he said every other country would, America doesn't. So in a way that's good, because then, you know, another country could hold Fauci accountable under Nuremberg, okay? But the reason we didn't agree to it is because then it gives all this power globally, which is what Britain wanted. And so that's why Britain has worked very hard, and the globalists have worked very hard, which is your socialists, Democrats, liberal, far left, crazy people, have worked hard to get a bunch of crackpot judges in that usurp our Constitution, don't respect our Constitution, and they show it, and this judge is one that showed it. And this picture that Trump put out, well, it just really tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? Total conflict of interest.